Hey, good morning, y'all. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So I got a lot going on today. Sitting here now, we have the kids' birthday party sleepover this weekend, tonight actually. So we are sitting here packing. We order all this stuff, and we're here putting it together. But I wanted to hop on here and talk about the power of crazy faith. I was having a conversation with a good friend last night, and I had to just really continue to pour into her about the power of walking in the crazy faith of God, like knowing what God is doing in your life. I explained to her that God has placed me in a season of serving, right? It's a season of serving. I've been in a transitional season where God had given me a vision of the things that he wanted to do in my life, but he put me in a season of serving, basically of taking the gifts that I have and sowing them into the lives of others, and requiring for me to really be committed to the process of my development to get to where I need to go. And so what does that look like? That means that the very things that I have been praying for in my life, I now get hired to help others do, right? And I was telling my friend yesterday, I said, it's so powerful when you get connected to the vision that God has given you. Good morning. When you get connected to the vision that God has given you and the importance of staying attached to that vision. Because what's going to happen is you'll be surrounded by so many people that are walking in that vision that God has given you and who are living out the vision that God has given you. And sometimes God will put you in a position to serve them, right? To serve them. Because what I've learned is that the kingdom of God is backwards. In order to be first, sometimes you have to be last, right? In order to actually be able to lead, you got to know how to follow. In order to become great, you got to learn how to serve. And I've learned that in this world that we're in, and I was telling my friend yesterday, I said, it's to the point where I have such joy when I'm serving people with my gifts, because I'm reminded that God has given me this gift. The true purpose and essence of life is to serve. It's to serve others. And a lot of us feel like it's for us to be edified and to live, our personal ambitions and desires, but it really is to serve others. But I was telling her, I said, it's amazing that God has opened up so many doors for me to serve people with my gifts, because what tends to happen is when he puts you in these environments, he gives you an opportunity to show you what's ahead. And unfortunately, so many of us are not willing to serve first. We want to be served. We want others to do for us. We want others to, treat us like we're the boss. We want, to be the star all the time. We want to, it's like our world that we live in right now wants to promote. It's all the self-promotion for self-elevation. But I will tell you this, and I think about so many different stories. I think about the story of David, where he was a shepherd, where he would take care of the sheep, right? And he would have to make sure that the wolves and the different things that would want to prey on the sheep were not going to attack it. So he learned how to fight off the enemy. He learned how to protect the field. He learned how to be diligent in his work and in his effort. He understood what his responsibility was. And he was committed to that role, that when it came down for somebody to go take down Goliath, a giant in their lives, right? The only person that was able to have the boldness to fight off that giant was the one that was getting practice in the field as a shepherd's boy, the one that was willing to serve and willing to do the work to protect the sheep. And unfortunately, most of us in this world that we live in, and David ultimately ended up becoming the king, right? And one of the wealthiest men in the history in the Bible. And he also became a great leader, and he did so many things. He wrote a lot of books in the Bible. But you think about David, you think about Joseph. I love the story of Joseph, right? The role that he had to play of being a servant to a king and even being wrongly accused, right? But a lot of us in the world today do not know how to be good servants. And we don't understand what God is doing in us through that time and that season of servanthood. And what happens, guys, is when you go through a season of serving, you now get the perspective of leadership because you understand where the needs are. And a lot of people don't understand that. It's crazy because I have people come to me all the time and they're like, God, Nicole, I hired somebody to do this, that, and the other, and they really didn't do a good job. They talked about all the things that they missed, overlooked this, and they didn't fulfill that, and they didn't, do this, and they didn't do that. And I get a lot of compliments like, man, working with you is like, I have people who I released and they begging to work with me again, because a lot of times people don't value what you bring to the table. But one of the biggest compliments that I get is like, you make it effortless, right? Working with you is effortless. And I'll let other people share that story. They're doing testimonies and all that. But it's so different working with me than working with other people, because I've been around long enough as a servant to know where needs are, to know how to fill in the gaps. See, if you just show up, for example, it's like a sport. If it's your first time, if you want to go play basketball, you've never played basketball before. Let's say golf. If you've never played golf before, and somebody says, hey, why don't you meet me on the golf course? Let's go play golf. You'll show up on the golf course totally naive of how to play the game. You won't know what par is. You won't know how to hold the golf. I don't even know what it's called. The golf swing, whatever it is, right? You probably won't know how to dress. It's a lot of things you won't know. You'll just show up and you'll have to learn while you're there, right? You'll learn on the job. You'll learn on the course. But if you've been around people who have played golf, you've actually asked questions. You may have been somebody's caddy, right? And if you were a caddy, and I'm not saying you got to be a caddy to learn how to play the game, but it's just the difference between serving. But if you were a caddy where somebody was going to play golf and they were like, hey, you know what? I'm practicing for, I'm in a game that I'm in. I don't know what they call it. That's not my language or my world. But if they ask you to come support them, can you come hold my, people think caddies are not valuable. They actually are advisors to golfers, right? The caddy is, but the caddy is the one who's holding all the golf clubs. He's the one holding the bag. He's the one, making sure everything is together for the golfer. But the caddy learns the game from the golfer, but he also learns what the golfer is missing so that he can be able to instruct him before he goes to swing, right? There is power in serving. And a lot of us have lost track of our ability to be a gift to someone else in the role of serving. And so anyway, I was sharing with somebody, I said, golf club sister, thank you. Yeah, help me out because I'm not a golfer, obviously, right? I couldn't go on a golf course. I couldn't go on a golf course and show up and be Tiger Woods. I can't do that on my first round. I have to learn the game. And then I also have to begin to learn, what are the things that in the game that most, what are the common things. If I want to become a good golfer, I got to get to know what my competition is doing. What are some of the things that they're missing? What are some of the things that I need to know? Like there's some in between. It's probably not a good example. But the point is that there are things that you learn by being in an environment as a servant, or being in an environment as a supporter, and being in an environment to learn what is required to be elevated. A lot of people want to start businesses as entrepreneurs and you do not understand how to serve in your market. And I'm not knocking people being able to become entrepreneurs, but what happens is, and I see this happen all the time, people put so much time, energy, and effort in the website. They put so much time, energy, and effort in the graphics. They put so much time, energy, and effort in the logo. They make sure that they got their Instagram page is thebomb.com. They make sure that, they got the professional photo shoots that everybody can see that they just a beast, right? And then all of a sudden they get themselves a title. I'm a beast of, branding. I'm a beast of, graphics. I'm a beast of this and I'm a beast of that. And then you hire them and then you pay them. And then these jokers disappear because they get overwhelmed because they don't know how to fulfill this assignment for their clients. They don't know how to service their clients. They don't understand that there are certain things in your role and your responsibility as a service provider that if you miss these things, you're not giving your client the best quality of service that is necessary, right? And so you end up seeing these folks come in and out of business within 6 months because they missed the mark of the ability to know how to properly service somebody, because they never served. They only wanted the title. They only wanted the image. They only wanted to be, celebrated as a brand through social media, but not necessarily knowing how to service their clients. And I say this, it's like, when you start putting yourself in a position, and a lot of people can't handle this level of conversation, right? A lot of people don't want to hear about serving. But when you begin to learn how to properly serve with the gifts that you have, what happens is God starts giving you the ability to see areas that other people have not seen, that when you finally start getting elevated in a role of wanting to take the lead, if you're launching a business and you're starting to position yourself as a whatever, as an expert, you start being able to have an eye to fill in a gap that has been huge in the marketplace that nobody else saw, because they didn't take the time to identify where the needs were with their market, right? They didn't take the time. And so I was telling my girlfriend yesterday, I said, here's my reality. This is my reality. My reality is this, is that I am serving an industry that I left. Okay, I'm serving an industry, a group of individuals that are in an industry that I walked away from. And I am witnessing these people's lives get so elevated, right? They are having super success. They are able to experience so much growth and so much power in their businesses. And it is humbling, because I walked away from that industry knowing that that's not what God called me to do. God called me to go to a completely different industry, right? And God transitioned me out of it. But God has allowed me to have the relationships where the gifts that I have are valued, necessary, and I can invest them into someone else to help them get elevated in their gifting. But if I wasn't clear on what God has called me to do, it would be very easy for me to start feeling some kind of way about being in an environment where I'm serving people that are elevated and winning in an industry that I walked away from. And I was telling my girlfriend, I said, what's so beautiful about it is that when you know what God has called you to do, and when you know where God is leading you, and when you know that there's such a greater purpose on your life, you can have such a calm and a peace and the ability to see beyond the external, but you can understand how God is starting to give you that X-ray vision for how you are going to stand out from the crowd when it's time to be elevated. So here's the point. Here's the message that I want to hit home with, the little whack example I gave y'all with the golf, right? For many of you guys, you're wanting to be the boss at something too fast. Some of you guys, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Some of you guys are wondering why you're not able to be elevated and to, why you just, it's not your season to shine yet. Why can't you be, whatever it is that you're trying to do, like you're wanting to really be elevated and you're wanting to win big in your life and in business, but it feels like it's not catching on. You feel like things are not picking up where it needs to be picked up, and you're not getting the traction that you want. A lot of times it's because there are seasons, you're skipping an area or season where you are called to serve. You are called to go to do the work and put your hands to the plow, and it may be in serving other people. And I've learned this over and over and over again over the years. Because when I got into internet marketing, I remember being taught all this stuff about building a brand. I remember, being taught how to shoot videos, being taught how to build my brand, how to build my blog, how to do my blogging messages, how to build my YouTube channel, all this stuff. And I remember saying to myself, well, I don't really know what to promote right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these skills and I'm going to serve somebody else while I learn these skills. So I ended up going to people saying, hey, do you need my help? I'm good at writing. I could build websites. I can do anything. Like I started telling them what I could do. I can help you with your social media management. I can help you with these things. And people would hire me and they would pay me and be like, yeah, I need help. Uh-oh. Hold on one second. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta pull this stuff out. We gotta get ready to pack. But the bottom line is that there are things that I ended up doing for other people. And in an effort to do that for other people, it actually allowed me to develop the skill that when it was time to do it for myself, I went to six figures really quickly in 6 months, right? Because of the skills that I had acquired. The bottom line is when you learn how to serve with the gifts that you have, you get elevated and you can get the experience that you need, that when it's time to implement it for yourself, you will skyrocket and be elevated to such a level that all of a sudden business will find you. So I just wanted to share that with you guys this morning. It is so important to be connected to where God is leading you, get attached to the will that God has for your life, and know that when you start serving and utilizing those gifts, it will take you to higher heights beyond anything that you could ever imagine. So I gotta go. We gotta get ready for the kid's birthday. But wanted to share that with y'all this morning. I had this conversation with her. And I will talk to y'all soon. Have a great Saturday. Bye.